Hey everybody, my name is Holly and I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've been doing hair for 15 years and I made a video on how to do beachy waves, and if you want to see how I did it with some tips and tricks, just keep watching. Just a disclaimer, if you are using any heat on your hair, please make sure that you know your hair type. If it's fine, dry, or damaged, make sure that you're using the correct setting for your hair so you don't damage it. Of course, if you have any questions, ask your hairstylist or a licensed professional on how to do it correctly, and always be careful, use a heat protectant. So the tools that I'm going to use for this hair tutorial is the Chi Vibes waver. It is a 2.5 and it gets very hot. It goes up to 450, and I actually use a straightener as well, just for some little parts, and it is actually a Hot Tools. This is an older one. I've had it for a long time, and it actually goes up to 450, so it gets very hot as well. So here's my hair. It's not freshly washed. I washed it last night, and I blow dried it just a little bit. I didn't completely let it dry wet, but I did kind of dry it just a little bit. Usually the bottom will wave up. It didn't because I kind of blow dried it out. But my hair is kind of naturally wavy, mostly on the bottom, not the top, not the highlighted hair, but the bottom color is my natural color. So it will wave up a little bit, sometimes a prettier wave than it is right now. But the best thing I found is to do the wave on not freshly washed hair, so like day old hair. And a lot of times if you go to a salon for like a prom appointment or for a formal style, they will usually tell you mostly to do your hair or come in with your hair not freshly washed, so like day old hair, because for some reason it does hold curl better, it does style better, it actually just kind of does what you want it to. So I like to use a comb, and this is just a little teasing comb, and I just tease my hair just a little bit. So teasing is really, it's not this. I mean, you can do that, but you know, we usually for teasing do this. That's how you get the best benefit for your hair. This doesn't really do anything. It doesn't move the hair. This out and in, that's going to give you a tease. So then you kind of, and I love this little part that you just pick it out. And then the back, I just grab sections out, in, and you can move up the hair. And that way, teasing, it doesn't cause a lot of damage. You don't want it to damage any broken hair, anything like that. So the tool that I'm using today, which I will use a straightener as well. You don't have to use a straightener, but I like to because I feel like it kind of gives it a little bit more polished look. But this is the waving iron that I use. It's the Chi Colossal Waves, or Chi Vibes. I think it's the Colossal Waves. If not, I'll double check. But I actually like the bigger one, the 3.6, I think, better. But this one will help your waves stay longer. The other one is a lot softer and it doesn't last as long. This one, whereas it is a little bit really wavy at first, and then after a day you wear it, it'll kind of loosen up and you can wear it for, I usually don't wash my hair for maybe 2 to 3 days. And maybe a little bit of dry shampoo in there. But this will last longer. And the other one, I have it somewhere. I'll show it to you. This is the bigger one. It's, you can see the barrel size. It's quite a bit bigger. So it does, I actually do like it better. I actually do like the waves better. So first thing you're gonna do is, I always section my hair. I always work in sections because it's just easier. I do have a lot of hair. It's pretty thick and it's coarse, so it can stand a lot of heat. So you want to first always check your settings. I always tell everyone, if you have finer or thinner hair or something prone to breakage, you always want to start with the lowest setting. I do 410, which is, that's hot. That's really hot. But I always start with I do because I know my hair type. But of course, any new tool that you're trying, something that's very hot, I always start with the lowest setting. See how it works, because sometimes they are hotter than what they say they are. Or they can get hotter if they sat for a while. So I actually just kind of start. Sometimes I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Sometimes I'll just start in the middle. It just depends on what I'm feeling that day. So I always kind of do a little bit of a rule. And I always start at least 2 to 3 inches from the root. I don't like on myself the way that it looks doing it up here. You get like a crinkle, like a wave on top of the head, and to me, it doesn't look natural on me. It looks kind of, I just don't think it looks good on me. I mean, of course, if you like that and you know it works for you, then do it whichever way you want. This is just how I do it. So I kind of start down here, and then you always want to follow the indentation, or it's going to give you a funky little crease. So see how I'm moving, and then this, it just finds the extra spot. And then I don't usually do the bottom. I kind of leave it because it can give you a divot, but we're going to fix that in a minute, and I'll show you what you do. So see this crinkle right here? I'll show you how to fix that. That's where the straightener comes in. So we're just still, of course, it's not perfection. It's just however you like to do it. Sometimes I may start a little bit closer and not mean to, and sometimes I'll move a little farther. Usually about 2 inches is where I leave it. I try not to do the bottom because it usually gives you a weird either inward thing or outward thing, and it kind of doesn't look natural. See, there's some of my natural wave in there. I just kind of go with that sometimes. I think sometimes when you go with how your hair wants to do, if it wants to curl, if it wants to be straight, some days are different. I'll just kind of go with it. I'm following that curl pattern and keeping my barrel in that divot so we don't get any weird spots. You can come a little bit down and barely tap it, but see, it's going to give you like a weird little thing there, a little stick out thing. And I mean, that's just my preference. If you like it, you know, whatever you like to do with your hair is fine. This is just the way I do it. Right. So, you know, it looks fine, but I always do a little extra steps. There might be some more hair back here. So I still have a little bit of that wave. So I'm going to follow along with that wave. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm going to go into the next kind of curl pattern, wave pattern, sorry. And then I'll just go on, and I'm going to leave my ends out. I'm not going to put my ends in there. So let's do it for the back. There's not really much wave in this. It's pretty straight. So I'm just going to go on down. And I did do a little bit of the ends in there, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always fix it. I did go a little bit down further, but see that little divot? And that's fine. And then I'm just going to barely tap it at the end. If your hair is shorter, then you probably will have to go closer to the end just to kind of get that wave. But that would just kind of give you a little bit of an idea. When you're doing a wave, you don't want to brush through it. It's going to make it frizzy looking. I always just kind of use my fingers and separate them. Then I'm just going to kind of do the side, each side. Now the top is what really matters to me. The bottom I don't really worry too much about, but I really try to pay attention to the top and make sure that there's no weird pieces. Like this is a little bit of a weird piece. Sometimes, you know, you move it down too fast. Sometimes I'll push up because that really helps define the wave a little bit more. Still starting kind of below the hair. Sorry, 3 inches down from the hairline. See this right here? I don't like that. And it's on the top. On the bottom, I don't really care as much unless I'm going to do it like half up. If I do half up. Now I part my hair on the side. I'm a forever side parter because I have a cowlick right here, and it will not do anything else but part right there. So I really haven't done any on this side. I'll go ahead and do this. If you stop sectioning, you can get lost. I got ahead of myself and got a little lost, and that's okay. Just keep doing that. The longer you leave the heat on it, the more it's going to wave it. I like mine a little softer. I like mine kind of on day, you know, the second day. because I like it. I think it looks a little bit more natural kind of when it's summertime. So that's kind of what I think of as like beachy waves. So that's kind of the way I do it. Alright, so I think I've got all the back. I think I got all the back. Nope. See? I quit section and I lost a piece. But I always check the back. You know, I always check the back of my head to make sure that I didn't forget a piece. Okay. Now I think we've just got... These are the most important pieces. Well, some of it, you know, about this section. And I feel like these are the most important because these are the, you know, the curtains of your face. Okay. Alright. This part right here. Starting, you know, 3.5 inches, following that wave pattern. Making sure my barrel kind of lands in that. Alright. So I'm just going to play with it. You want to just finger through it. Alright. So this is the first part. Now we're going to the second step. Okay. So the second part of the tips or whatever is actually a straightener. So I know, what do you use a straightener for? Well, I guess you can imagine you know what a straightener's for. But this is actually Hot Tools. And this was the one I was given in beauty school 15 years ago. And I've still used it to this day at home. Now, I bought a new straightener for my shop that I do on clients' hair, but this is the one that I've kept, and I have my initials on it right here. In school, we labeled everything so that way we didn't get them mixed up. But this is still the straightener that I have, and it has lasted me this long, and it still is a good one. And it goes up to 450, so it's very hot, and it still works. So I'm very happy to keep this and use this. So what I do is to go back through. See these little things right here? They don't look bad. They're not, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, you can keep it. It can give your hair a little bit more volume. I don't like it, and I don't like this tight of a piece by my face, or that tight of a piece by my face. I like it to look softer, and I want it to look a little bit more relaxed. So I kind of take my straightener, and I just get a very thin little section, and make sure it's hot. Yeah, it heats up very fast. So, and like my little cowlick right here, I don't like it sticking up like that. Sometimes I don't care. So I just run it through it. Any other little pieces. And of course, I just really do this on top. But of course, if you're kind of pulling your hair back or anything, and you are going to see kind of those divots, you can, or creases, sorry, not divots. The creases, you can pull it down and kind of pull it over that. So I'm just going to pull it through, and this right here, I'm just going to barely run it through it. This little piece right here, it's too wavy for me. I'm going to just barely run it through it. That piece didn't look like it waved that good. This piece is a little too wavy for me. I'm just going to slide it through it just to soften it. I don't want it to take the whole thing out. I just want to soften it. And then this side, a little too much for me. Just run it through it barely. You don't want to straighten it back out. You're just softening it barely. And then I'm going to go back where these really defined creases are. And then I'm just going to just a very thin little layer. And I'm just going to straighten those. And of course, you are putting extra heat on your hair, so you make sure that you're using a good heat protectant. And also the act of just using your fingers and just pulling some of this out will soften it without, you don't want it to be frizzy. And you just have to kind of play with it. Now, what I do to the bottom as well is I just softly run this through. So that way, if you didn't, you know, if your hair isn't prone to being straight, which mine is not, mine is prone to frizz. Like this piece is a little too, it's a little too wavy for me. And I still really don't like this big wave right here. Just keep playing with it. And I like the, this piece is weird. And like I said, I can wear this for days. 3 days. I could go 4 days if I wanted to. I mean, that could be gross. I don't know. But I could with a little bit of dry shampoo. Just use your fingers. Just play with it. If you see any weird spots, you can do the straightener very lightly. You know, if you want to just tone down some of the wave. Make it look more natural. This will fall some too. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of, this is Kenra's Silkening Gloss. I like it a lot. It smells really good. It smells fruity, kind of watermelon or maybe strawberry. It just kind of helps frizz, helps pull out some of that wave. You have, with the waves, you have a lot of volume. You can, if you like volume. This one's bugging me. Okay, just a little bit. Alright, so I like the Silkening Mist from Kenra too. Well, alright. And this is my waves with a little bit of extra help.